What's up? This is Rome from Knowville. Check out this interview I have speaking with Krickett Jones, who is a rookie fighter making her pro debut at Cotton Eye Joe's with the Aries Fight Series. Check it out. All right, yo. This is Rome with Knowville, and we're doing something a little bit different today, but sort of back to the regular scheduled program. You guys know I've interviewed Kim Finito before he had his first professional boxing fight. So now we have another person that's about to undertake their first professional fight. I'm here speaking with Krickett today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I cannot complain. Now I was gonna ask you, I know that this is your first professional fight. I know you have a history, state championship wrestling. Is that what like did the wrestling sort of make you want to go further in that route? How did you find fighting?
So I actually started karate when I was 8 years old, and from that day on, I was like, "This is gonna be my personality for the rest of my life." I just fell in love with it. I did karate, and then at 10, I started jujitsu, and then I started adding in boxing and kickboxing, and then I finally added an MMA. Well, I couldn't differentiate between being on the ground and being standing, so there's nothing like in between. So when I got to high school, I did wrestling, and the whole point of wrestling was to bridge that gap of stand up fighting to striking to the ground. So I've always wanted to do MMA. I've always wanted to go big or go home. UFC has always been the goal. So yeah.
Wow, man, that's amazing because so often in the fight game, it's like almost the opposite of you know, started out, wrestled in high school, really good at wrestling, and then was like, how can I add to the wrestling? You know what I'm saying? Like you almost did like a reverse Brock Lesnar, where it was like, you know what I'm saying? Let me learn the hand game and then let me get the ground game. Um,
Right.
so, so like you said, the goal has always been UFC. Um, in the realm of like mixed martial arts, who do you sort of look up to? Who's your sort of tent pole?
Me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. I enjoy watching it, but there's no one that I'm not gonna idolize anyone because I don't know them personally. I know me at the end of the day. Like I know how hard I work. I know the effort I put in. It's not just putting in work in practice. It's the dieting. It's doing things at home. It's making the right decisions. It's showing up every day, not just for you, but for your coaches, for people who support you. Um, so yeah, I don't know what other people do. They're like they could be great fighters, but they could be horrible athletes. And being athletes, not just being good at your sports, also being a well-rounded person. So I rather look up to me than anyone else in the game.
Okay, you hitting these answers out the park here so far. Okay, I got you. I got you. Y'all been doing media training over there too? Y'all be
No,
sparring?
no, I just say what's on my mind, you know?
I got you. I got you. So let's talk about the fight. You got a fight coming up. It's at Cotton Eye Joe's. Um, so the group that you're fighting with, are they affiliated with the UFC, excuse me, in any way, shape, or form? Or is this just basically an avenue just to get the fight?
Gotcha. So Frankie's Body Shop has so they started off as a gym and they did strength and conditioning for UFC fighters, for PFL, for Invicta, Bellatora. They've done over 100 strength and conditioning, weight cuts, fights. Like they've been in the game for almost 30 years. They didn't start recently putting their gym together. I want to say 2018 till present, and they started taking on fighters. So that's kind of where I kind of got wrapped into it. Shanimal, who is in the UFC in Vegas, they're very close with her. So there is connection there. They do have, you know what I'm saying?
For
They've
sure, for
worked,
sure.
they've worked with a lot of high level athletes. So yeah,
All right, all right. And that's the other thing. I like it's the world is changing so much because I remember when UFC first started, like first started. and like it was like, oh my God, this is like barbaric. We have to stop it. And then, then it elevated, and then it's like, okay, now we're adding women. It was like, well, no one wants to see women fight. And then all of a sudden you get the superstar Ronda Rousey. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, well, this is viable. Okay, let's do this. Now, where we at in 2024, you know, TKO owns WWE, but they also own UFC. Um, so you have this like synergy that you've never seen before. All that to say, you get a contract offer from WWE. Is that something you have any interest in, or you're like, nah, man, I just want to do the UFC. I just want to.
Um, Probably not WWE because it's not actual fighting. It's more acting, more stage, more politics. Um,
Right,
Whereas UFC, it's like all skill, all great. You're water cutting. You are in it to win it. It's a dogfight. Well, I mean, if Invicta or PFL or Bellator are called, I'd take their offer too because they're also big like UFC. UFC is just like people say, "Oh, what do you think of fighting?" You think of UFC.
right. All right, all right. I'm gonna ask you again in a few years. Like I said, I saw Rousey there, Shayna Baszler, uh, Paige Van Zant. Like a lot of actual legit fighters have
Right.
made that jump. I'm not trying to sell you on them. I have no stake in it. I'm just trying to get you a couple million real quick.
Maybe we'll see.
You know what I'm saying? Just an appearance.
I don't know. I want to fight for as long as I can and then do something else. Like I want to go back to
Right.
shot put at some point because I'm also like people always like, oh, she just wrestles, she just is boxing. No, I did shot put. I was an all-star athlete in high school. I placed at state for shot put as well, so I'm decently good at that as well. So I may
Right,
want to get
right.
back to that. Um,
Let me ask you this, like going back to the shot put or going back to the wrestling, like was the Olympics or anything like that ever something you were thinking about?
So I thought about going to the Olympics for wrestling, but for women's wrestling, the Olympics is freestyle only. I do folk style. I prefer folk style. MMA and folk style blend really well because of how hard the top bottom or ground game is. In freestyle, the ground game's a little different. It's mostly neutral, and there's lots of throws that can be dangerous. You can break your neck, and I'm not a super huge fan of being lifted anyway. So the idea of volunteering, be like, yeah, that's how you score points. Like that's not something I want to do freestyle wise. So I enjoyed folk style. I wouldn't stay. I'm happy with where I was at, and it just helped me elevate my MMA game overall. And then shot put's always been not it's been a side quest. You know what I mean? I like it. I'm
All
really good at it.
right,
It's calm. It's peaceful, and it's a break sometimes from the aggressive content of MMA.
right, right, right. No, man, that's a very mature way to sort of look at it. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really know the difference in you said freestyle and folk style. Am I getting that
Mm-hmm.
right?
So there's
Got
multiple
you.
different types of wrestling. There's freestyle, folk style, Greco-Roman. That's the main three in the U.S. There's obviously other types in India and all over the world, but those are the three main ones in the U.S. Folk style is the hardest because the ground game is so hard. Greco-Roman is no legs, so you don't touch their legs. You only do upper body throws, which is mostly more of a man's man sport because a lot of women unfortunately don't have upper body strength, and a lot of high school girls are like, no, I'm not doing that. So it's not a very popular amongst women wrestlers, but freestyle is and folk style is.
Okay, all right.
But
Man, this
yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. You're fine. No, you're good. I was gonna say, freestyle is only offered at higher levels for women. So men could do folk style, freestyle, and Greco-Roman in college and Olympic level, but women can only do freestyle. There's not enough of us.
Understood,
Yeah.
understood. The person that you're facing, are they a local person? Are they coming in from out of town? Do you even know them at all? Do you know anything about them?
Yes. So she is from Sevierville. She's an independent trainer. She's been in the game for 10 years, like about a decade or, so something like that. She's 35. She's 4 and 17. Um, she's a professional MMA fighter and boxer. So yeah, that's all I kind of really know. I've watched a couple of her grappling matches and Yeah.
I got you. I got you. So like that's all right. So this being your first time, I know you're a trained athlete. I know this isn't the first time, you face competition. But
Mhm.
when you see that she has like a decade of the practical experience, is that intimidating at all, or you just like it is what it is?
I also have a decade of experience. I started at 8. I'm 18 now. That's 10 years of experience. So I'm not super concerned. I'm 18, getting in the ring with a 35-year-old. I feel like I'm faster, I'm quicker. I wrestled at high level before. That tension you have at state where you're in a finals match, it's tight. So I wrestle with all lights on me, kind of thing, and I thrive in that. I tend a lot of people get in their head and they crumble. I love that energy. I love being like in the spotlight. I just I I thrive off of it. So she's gonna have more experience being in the cage. She's not gonna be as nervous. She'll be like, oh, whatever, I've been here countless times before. But I really feel like she thinks like, oh, well, she's just an 18-year-old, she's just getting started, like she did a couple of wrestling, she won state. But I don't think she understands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And
I'm not worried nor intimidated at all. It's hard to intimidate me. You know what I'm saying?
right, right,
My
right.
practice partners are all men. So
Definitely. I'm sure that definitely plays into it a little bit. And it's sort of funny though, because I sort of remember back in the day before people knew about the wrestlers, how they were always sort of slept on until, what I'm saying, somebody got yoked up and sort of like slams to the ground. And with female, like, let me say, with like female, I guess, high school and collegiate wrestling becoming more of a thing, I feel like a lot of women probably haven't had that experience against a wrestler because it's such like a new thing. You know what I'm saying?
mhm. And wrestling is a very, very hard sport to stick at, because it's mentally draining, it's emotionally draining, it's physically hard. It is arguably the hardest sport. You ask any MMA fighter, they're like, wrestling was my hardest thing I had to learn. Um, it's just you go in, you weight cut all week, and then you have an hour to recover after you weigh in, and you wrestle all day long from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and you get 6 minutes of a match, and it's at 45-minute wait, and then 6 minutes of a match and 45-minute wait. So, and it's mentally taxing, and it's like you're not overweight, but you're overweight for your weight class. You know what I'm saying? So it's a mind game, and not people can stick it out. But if you can, you'll come out so much better than where you were when you started.
Yeah, man. I'll just you're very poised, man. Knowing your mom and everything, I expected it, but I didn't expect it to be like so put together. So that's definitely a compliment to her and
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Um, so I plan on being in attendance. The friend I have, he's the Tennessee State boxing champ at the moment, Kemp Finito. He plans on being in attendance, and we're just really hoping to see the the ground level of this budding superstardom. You know what I'm saying? Because like no, for real though, at 2024, you think about it, you're starting at 18. Feasibly, you can be the face of this industry in the future. You know what I'm saying? Is that something you ever like sort of think about, or you just take it like a day at a time?
No, so long term, long term, I do want to be as big as I possibly can be, inspire that. I'm very girly. I'm very like get my nails done. I love fancy things. I'm not very tomboy. So I really want to inspire little girls that you can be girly and you can be an absolute monster in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the goal. Then like I want to be that positive mixed role model. I feel like a lot of mixed people don't have um a role model. Like I feel like the mixed community, we just don't have a role model that's like their top tier. You know what I'm saying? So like that would be something long term that I would want to contribute to, to society.
No, I definitely understand. I have two biracial daughters, so I definitely sort of peep game on what you're saying as far as like, who's the well, okay, let me say this one thing though. Y'all sort of got the ultimate, right? 'Cause y'all got a president. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
everyone's like, oh, well, Barack Obama's black, and I'm like, but it's convenient when you want him to be black, but when oh well, they speak too white, or
yeah,
they
yeah,
they're too educated for us. They're white, even though we have both parents. So it's like when it's convenient, you know what I'm saying? It's like the colorism, and I know
for
every mixed
sure.
person faces that, and it's very demeaning. It's very out, you feel very outcasted all the time, and it's like we don't have anyone that's like, yes, you can be both, you can be proud to be both, you can identify as both, you don't have to pick one or the other. Who cares what they say? They don't get to dictate your race. I there's no powerful female that I know of that is standing on business like that. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're right. And now that we're talking about it, not to make this a political conversation, but like no, we got someone running for president right now that, half the people are telling her, you're really not this, you're really that. And she's like,
Mm-hmm.
nah, I know my parents. This is, you know what I'm saying? And they're just like,
Right.
so completely understand. I know I told you about 15, 20 minutes, so I don't want to, take advantage of your time like that. I'll leave
No,
it with
you're fine.
this. Oh, okay. Well,
You're
but
fine. You're fine. I mean, I'm
let me
hungry,
ask.
but cutting weight. So I mean, I'm hungry. I don't have anywhere to be till 2, so I'm chilling.
All right, cool, cool. Um, so with the plan that you sort of envision for yourself, starting here, hopefully we get all the way to the top. Other than like the MMA, do you have any other like sort of entertainment or overreaching goals that way?
Yes. So I'm actually going to school for welding right now, at TCAT. I'm also a TCAT ambassador. Um, I'm also running run for state as a like represent TCAT at a state level as well. But overall, long term after I graduate, I really want to get in the field and see where it takes me. To get my CWI, which is a welding inspection. I inspect men's welds. That will be I get to be like, you passed or you don't get the job. And eventually get my welding engineering degree. So that's a route I want to take. Um, and honestly, see what else I can get into. See if I can get into modeling, because why not? You know,
Right, right, right.
um, and also to like wherever whatever doors UFC or higher level fighting takes me to, sponsorship wise, get into modeling, do something, you know what I'm saying. Eventually, like if I retire from however many years, go back to shot put. I like to crochet for fun, so maybe have like a little farm of alpacas and make yarn. I don't know, and crochet
Right.
when I get old. I have no idea, but something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that crochet. Like, what?
I
Crochet?
love to
Okay.
crochet.
All
Yes,
right.
I'm
All
like a
right.
little old lady. I like tea and soup, and I like to crochet.
I hear you. I hear you, man. Look, if you ever do start crocheting like that, I do need a little knit, scully cap or something like that. So you need to hook me
Okay,
up. You know what I'm saying?
okay,
I'll,
I got
I'll definitely pay for it.
got you. I mean, I'm practicing right now. I'm making a blanket, and it's taken me a really long time. So,
You
I'm
would think the blanket should be easy though, right? It's just like
yeah, but when you're working with like when it's like 3 feet long, and there's 12 rows, and it takes a long time. Blankets take months, so I'm like, it's taking a lot longer than I thought it would. You know what I
I
mean?
got you. Well,
I
you
like
gotta,
crochet little, they take less time.
you're using the hands for something else right now, so you don't got time to be doing the intricate, crocheting and whatnot. And once again, that was the interview with Krickett Jones, a rookie fighter having her first pro fight. That's Cotton Eye Joe's. It's going to be October 18th, which is today. Doors open at 5. That's with the Aries Fight Series. So come out and support. And once again, man, you could be on the cusp of history.
This is Rome from Knowville, and appreciate the listen.